Prime Video bribes Brazilians to watch The Lord of the Rings of Power with food delivery service coupon. It's beautiful. So I can't really believe this is a thing, but they screwed it up. We've made several videos talking about the absolute disaster that is the Rings of Power and the failure to actually come up with something that people were identifying with in any way, shape, or form. But it says Prime Video bribes Brazilians to watch The Lord of the Rings of Power with a coupon for a free delivery service called iFood. It feels like Apple would just trademarked every word with I in it. Like they literally
apparently not.
Like they went through the English, like just through a dictionary and just put like I banana, I coffee, everything. So it says YouTuber George the Giant Slayer reports, quote, Amazon is having to bribe viewers in Brazil to watch this show. In the video, he shared a number of screenshots from Amazon Prime's Brazilian account offering 30, is it real?
I do not know how to pronounce
that. A 30 real coupon.
Just pronounce it with confidence.
It's $5 equivalent USD.
$5.
$5 coupon for fast food.
All I'm saying,
if you watch this atrocious series,
that could get you like one burger in America.
All I'm saying, though,
maybe that.
Your time,
not if it's from Five Guys.
Nothing else.
Your time is worth far more than imagine having to. Do you get the coupon at the end of it, or do you get the coupon at the beginning of it?
You have to take a quiz at the end to prove that you watched it.
This reminds me that like they tried to bribe us with like donuts and burgers to get a certain treatment, which was safe and effective.
I remember
and
that.
It's just very brazenly telling us that we are consumer cattle.
Yes.
It is funny too that they're like, fast food is bad. People should eat more healthier things.
Here.
But we want you to do this thing, so we'll give you some.
Dunkin' Donuts.
So we're eating junk food and putting that in our bodies, and then we are watching the cinematic equivalent of junk food at the same time. It's like very fitting.
But not in like a fun, indulgent way. Yeah. Like not in a like, oh, it's a treat. It's like garbage that's going to like block all your arteries and give you diabetes.
As you can see in the screenshot above, the bribe comes almost 3 weeks after The Rings of Power, and it had its eighth and final episode of season 1 on October 14th. One has to wonder if this isn't part of the $1 billion budget Amazon reportedly had for the show. I think it was $465 million for season 1.
Right.
I don't remember the numbers anymore, but I know that we already talked about the fact that they're doing a new marketing push after. Mm-hmm. Since the viewership has dropped so dramatically since the premiere, and then after, now that House of the Dragon has a longer run and a longer legs, word of mouth wise.
House of Dragon actually
they're trying to recover
viewers.
numbers for Rings of Power, and they're going to have people watch it by any means necessary. And if you think about it, they're willing to spend $1 billion on this show, and all you get is
$5 off of food. I also want to point out one of the things that I found funniest was I was looking at this number.
Why Brazil? Sorry, not to be rude to Brazil.
They do pick random countries to do like tests on, like control tests. Like I know that they tried new features for like Netflix in Chile.
Ad tiers got rolled out. They
start those different like experimental features in like mainly South American countries. I don't know why. So
the show fell to 988 million views, million minutes viewed in its third week after cracking 1.23 billion in its first two. But I also want to point out here that in this graph of like the top 10 shows, one of them on here is The Blacklist, which is in like season 9 million right now. I mean, NCIS is even more than that, but we're talking like.
But NCIS is gold.
I love that Cocomelon is 7.
Yeah, so
above Halloween Ends.
So like these things are projects that have been on there. We're not talking about prestige cinema with The Blacklist or NCIS. We're talking about stuff that's very, very basic network TV fare that is gaining far more viewers than the greatest fantasy writer of all time.
I've seen a lot of press about The Watcher, but surprisingly, still a lot less than Rings of Power or Dahmer or House of the Dragon got. Why is that?
The Watcher stuff felt very like AstroTurf to me. They're
you
like,
think?
Look at this show that everybody likes. I'm like, well, when you say it, I don't believe it.
Right before Halloween.
Yeah.
I also think horror doesn't get, like, I think fantasy stuff will have a larger audience than sort of horror.
Horror is
and
designed
Dahmer
for,
is like an exception because it's true crime.
Horror is the box office is where you go for horror because the budgets are always smaller and the return on your investment is huge when it's done right.
I also I know we talked about this last time I was on, like what is the appeal of true crime, and I said like I think for some people it's the idea that like you are not sure where the bad things are coming from, and if you like monitor it enough, you'll learn to pick it up. Like it's sort of the subconscious belief you'll eventually figure out how to detect it in your own environment. Like I think with The Watcher, this is the one where it's like someone sending letters to that house, right?
Yeah,
and it's based off a true story. I think
people started like harassing the people that live at that house, by the way.
No, they demolished that house.
Really? I heard that there were people like driving by that house, taking pictures of it.
I heard
messing
at one
with
point,
it.
maybe it was just a plan to demolish it, but at one point they were trying to sell it and like they just didn't want it anymore. But like I think for some people that storyline of like someone's just randomly sending letters to your house and sort of being threatening, like that's people are gonna be like, I don't want to have to put myself through that because now every time I get a letter I'm gonna be nervous. I think in some ways it's less appealing than like a solved case that's like, because it isn't solved, right? It's still an open case, or not open, but like they never determined who was sending the letters. From what I read,
it's based on a real story.
I also want to point out that Amazon is laying off 10,000 workers coming up, and
are they going to offer them fast food?
We heart mass layoffs at Disney and Amazon.
I mean, I don't relish.
Meta,
I don't.
too.
And Netflix.
I don't relish anyone losing their job, but I do believe
like they're
that
fake jobs.
I don't know if you know.
They're fake jobs. Do you think that you're going to see a difference in
Also,
user experience on Amazon, Netflix, or Disney Plus after they lose thousands of employees? These employees are generally useless email job havers.
I actually had a really
HR reps.
I can't think of what
consultants.
it was. I literally woke up with like the fakest job name in my head, and I was gonna like
What is
write.
it?
I don't remember now.
No!
I woke. It was like it was literally it was like adjunct coordinator of something or other, and it was like, but you know that if you looked up on LinkedIn, that thing probably exists somewhere somehow.
Yeah.
But here
it's like the academia blow. People talk about this all the time with like the administrative coordinator to the assistant director of the Department of Student Experience.
Yes.
And we know that all of these corporations and academia are working together with the governments. It's like public and private enterprises
Cronyism.
are totally blending together. And that's part of the reason that Rings of Power production got away with environmental destruction in New Zealand, excused by the New Zealand government because of the tax breaks it gives them and the revenue it gives them.
I have this paragraph. It says, by July of 2021, they rate that the first season of the show, which is equivalent to around 3 or 4 films, has generated roughly 14,387 tons of carbon dioxide, 5 times what the British Film Commission estimates an average tentpole or blockbuster film would produce. Calculating how much waste the production had sent to landfill was more difficult. The team notes that the figures won't capture the total waste. They like you when you lay down with activists, you get up with complainers. You're not going to really be able to get away from this stuff. And they these companies want to push themselves. How long has Google had like carbon neutral on their homepage for years?
It is always a lie.
Yes.
Always. So it's just like the fact that certain Scandinavian countries get wooden pellets from North America shipped to them overseas so that they can use like burning wood for power over there and still say that they're carbon neutral. Yeah. Like it's actually just lies. It's fabrication.
You guys know what like LEED certified buildings are? They're like, it's a standard for like environmentally friendly buildings, and they got really popular, and you get a tax credit if you're like a business or university that has a LEED certified. There are like different levels. Yale has a bunch of them, like a lot of college campuses do now. And like one of the things you can do, like they'll send someone out, I think it's whatever department of the government will send someone out and they'll come evaluate your building. And you would think it'd be stuff like solar panels and gray water systems and whatever kind of insulation. And that is part of it, but also they'll be like, you have a bike rack? Excellent. You get points for that because you're encouraging people to bike. Never mind if anyone actually bikes on this campus.
Perfect.
Like, I feel like there are all kinds of things like that like these companies are doing to being like, no, but we have
ways you can pat yourself.
And guys, remember these numbers are all generated from just one season of Rings of Power, which is now being filmed in the UK. They've abandoned New Zealand. So it says one vendor reported collecting 11,433 cubic meters of landfill waste. so far that season. About 4.5 Olympic-sized swimming pools full of waste.
You don't realize these things. I didn't know until it was outright written here that like all of the soil that they use in natural environments, artificial natural environments for the show, is literally just plastic chips. Mm-hmm. Like it's just a complete and utter mess. And they're just spreading like polyester and plastic all over the natural environment.
Yeah.
Then ruining it for the next people who want to film there. But
all for a show that nobody's watching and nobody cares about.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's it. They're just doing it to be like environmental issue. Like
all for a generic Sauron reveal at the end.
Yeah.
Right. What a waste.
I don't get it. I feel like, I think I said this once before, but like this movie has to be like a tax write-off or something. Like they have earned too much that they now have to spend some of their money on something, and then we'll just dump money into this project we don't care about.
And I also want to point out that like when you think of just how large, like it is now considered like an accomplishment when you don't have an Amazon Prime account. When someone's like, yeah, I buy local. Mm-hmm. Like I don't have an Amazon Prime account. Are you nuts? Like if you can't even get people to watch when you literally have a built-in audience that is brought in from other things, like you're failing. Like other people have to draw you into their platform with actual good content. You just draw them in with free 2-day shipping, and you still can't get people to watch, even though you saved them thousands of trips that they would have to make to stores to watch stuff. Makes no sense to me. So the $5 coupon, what would you spend it on? I do want to know.
Taco Bell.
Wait,
most bang
did
for
they
your buck?
say it's just any fast food, or they have specific?
It's a delivery service, so whatever's it would be. It would probably be depending on where you live.
Okay.
So she says Taco Bell.
But
you said
that pittance of $5,
It's nothing.
not worth the torture
Also,
you're
like,
about to go through.
Then
really.
you have to pay for the delivery service. Yes. Like either you're paying for
well, you
the
just get
food-
$5 off the delivery service.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
So you're saying what they're saying is spend money at this business.
It's like
so
when
pay us and then pay this other company.
it's like that
Like,
meme.
Just
and
rent a
somehow
movie-
you win.
just read a book and make dinner at home. That's what I'm saying.
It's like this meme where it's a woman like at a chalkboard with all these complicated lines. It says, my wife explaining to me how a $5 coupon explains spending $250 at Target. Like we're saving, we're wasting money not spending it when I don't use this coupon, even though I don't need $250 worth of stuff.
I remember there are like tons of generations of people, and even now people think like, oh, if I stay home, like I'll save some money, I won't eat out, whatever else. And like
David
delivery
Ramsey would be proud of you.
and delivery services and Amazon Prime, that's all disrupted all of that. Like you can be spending money from the comfort of your bed. There's no escaping consumerism.
I remember when the first time I saw like the thing where you could like put pizza on like a payment plan. You could order Domino's and get it
Right.
in
Yeah, on
payments.
Afterpay.
Like, I was like,
You're going to finance your cheesy bread. It's insane.
That is the end of modern society.
Like we see Amazon Studios, Jennifer Salke doing the same exact mental gymnastics to justify the investment they've made in this show.
Yep.
And it's been an utter failure that they are contractually obligated to continue.
5 seasons.
I'm going to enjoy just watching this show become an utter train wreck.
It says, and they talk more about the theory that they're going to make it a full reboot in season 2. That would be really funny.
That was a complete misrepresentation of the facts.
Where this is where it pretends that the last 2 months didn't happen. Roll out the publicity, maybe roll out some more influencers.
No, all that means is changing the PR for season 1 and then making another season, which they were going to do anyway. That's not a reboot. The whole series was a reboot in the first place. That's not a reboot. They're just saying we want to do it better the next time around.
Well, yeah, they're saying that they're going to actually follow canon in the second season.
No,
we're supposed to
don't
believe
fall for their lies.
We're supposed to believe they have scripts.
I don't believe
intricately written scripts through the final episode of season 5 or whatever. We're supposed to believe that at the same time as they tell us they're responding to fan criticisms from social media and rewriting the script based on that to do damage control. It doesn't make any sense.
I remember when the show The Americans came out, the guy who created The Americans, he did have it. I believe he had the first season and the last season written first, if I remember correctly. So he had the plan, and he was friends with the head of FX. So even though the show didn't get great ratings, it stayed on the air through the entirety of the show. And it was actually, from what I remember, the first 2 seasons quite good. But the show didn't have a large audience because it just didn't catch people's eye the same way, but they let them continue to make it, which would be a rarity now. Well, it wouldn't be a rarity nowadays, but at that time, shows got canceled if they didn't have great ratings on those networks. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I have no problem. It's interesting. This show falls in a weird pocket for me where as much as I hate it, I don't hate it with the burning passion that I would hate a She-Hulk. So it's like, I can hate watch this, and it's kind of just burning dislike watch, not hate watch.
I mean, I kind
Well,
of
why watch
have
it?
more disdain for Rings of Power than She-Hulk because at least She-Hulk is bastardizing an IP that, while it does have a fan base, has less of a history and a meaning for people emotionally than Lord of the Rings does. And the original author of that character is alive, correct?
Yes, but does it have Megan Thee Stallion twerking?
That was pretty bad. Yeah.
That is my
That is
takeaway.
original content in today's day and age.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.